Boom! Welcome back. Yeah, so this video is going to go over the Darnellify add-on GUI, specifically the Combat Tab options. But how do we open the GUI? You might be asking. Don't worry, your boy got you. Down in the chat area, if you type /darn, then the GUI will open up. If you type it again, the GUI will close. It's that simple. But Darnell, I don't want to type anything. I feel you, bro. I got you too. If you didn't disable the minimap icon add-in for Darnellify, you should see my small head up on the minimap. Click it and the GUI will open up. Click it again and the GUI will close again. Once again, simple. But there is another way too. If you press the escape key to bring up the Warcraft menu, you'll see that I've replaced the shop button with a Darnellify button. This button also opens the GUI. Of course, you can disable this option within the GUI itself if you don't want to replace the shop button. But that's on another tab we'll talk about later. This video is about the Combat tab. The add-on should default to the Combat tab when you first use it. And if you mouse over the tab you already have open, it should tell you that you are already here. There are 7 tabs in total, and if I go click on the next tab, the emote tab, it should then tell me that the previous tab is the Combat tab since I am no longer on that tab. So the 7 tabs are as follows: the Combat tab, the emote tab, the warnings tab, the info tab, the GUI tab, the mounts tab, and the miscellaneous tab. I'll be doing a separate video for each of these tabs to help you understand all the options within this add-on. But for now, this video is focused on the Combat tab. First up, at the top left, you'll see critical hits. If the next expansion, Midnight, doesn't break this option, you should hear me screaming out some cool shit when I get a critical hit. However, if the Midnight expansion disables this, then, well, you will hear fucking nothing. Don't go blaming me though. I did what I could with what Blizzard is allowing me to do. The option is on by default. Clicking it will turn it off. Green letters is on, gold is off, but you should hear it tell you the option is on or off. Most times it will give you a random example of what you will hear in game when it activates. The next option is critical kills. Same shit for this as the previous, on by default. Can turn it off or on. Should play an example of what you hear in game when it is turned on. Next up, environmental death. So if you die in game and you have this on, you may hear me randomly insult you for dying or ask how much it's going to cost to repair shit. Next up is get over here. Now there is a little story behind this. This originally was another add-on Maziel created for Warcraft back in the day. He figured why recode the fucking thing when it can be included in Darnellify? So that's exactly what he did. So if you have it turned on, any class that can pull another towards them should yell out the catchphrases from Scorpion of Mortal Kombat. Next up we have Interrupted. And just like all the previous options we have spoken about, if Blizzard's new expansion Midnight breaks these intentionally, then there's not much I can do about it, unfortunately. But there are plenty of other options within the add-on, which will remain usable and enjoyable. If this option is turned on, you'll hear me scream out that some fucking cunt interrupted me, or that I interrupted myself, or that I was successful in interrupting them. That is if all goes to plan. Next up, the giant duel flag. Now this option isn't for auto-declining duel requests. That's a separate option. This option is just for playing various sounds when in a duel, or turning them off. This next section I included because I am so fucking sick and tired of attempting to find these basic options, which should automatically be part of the default game, then discovering that they don't have some of these as basic options at all. Come on Blizzard, what the fuck? What happened to play the game your way? So I included this auto-decliner area. All of these options are off by default, unless one of the 3 actual inbuilt options are already turned on by you or another add-on you use. So if you use a separate add-on for your auto-declining needs, just totally ignore this area completely. I shouldn't have to say this, but I will since it is a tutorial. If you click this and it has a green tick in the box, then that option is enabled and should block what it is that you turned on. Next up is a little option I created when I was playing through all the different classes and races to code up the NPC interactions. You see, when I hand in a quest or talk with an NPC, I right-click them and a dialog box pops up. Problem is, sometimes these NPC quest givers want to come fight alongside with me on the quest they gave, which is fine and all, unless you use your right-click to change the target you want to fight. I know some people use tab targeting, but I don't. So there were multiple times where I would be attempting to click on the next target and the fucking quest window would pop up in my face. It happened so often that I just had to code this option. And it wasn't just the quest givers, but also the repair vendors that caused an issue. So this option was born. Now, I did have it turned on by default, but then decided to turn it off and let you, the user, decide. You'd think such a basic thing like this would be coded by default into the game, right? If you and your NPC vendor are fighting something, then there's no time to open up his window to see what he is selling. The reason I decided to turn it off by default was due to one of the quests which kept your character in combat and expected me to turn in a quest to a dragon at the same time. So I figured, okay, Blizzard, you win. I'll turn it off by default and let the user decide if they need it or not. Lastly, you'll notice down at the bottom left of all of the tabs is a small red sound button. This is disabled on all tabs by default. If you turn it on, when you mouse over an option, it should tell you what the option is. This is great, but I couldn't get the sound to stop before playing another sound as you moused over the next option. You'd think the stop sound coding option would work in the same way as the stop music coding option does, but nope, it doesn't. So I simply disabled it and left it there as an option for users to turn on if they want to mouse over and see what something is, kind of like a built-in tutorial. Now, I love talking, I talk a lot, but this kind of mouse over multiple options with having multiple me's talking was just too much. So yeah, disabled by default. If any coder better than Maziel knows how to instantly stop an add-on sound from playing prior to playing the next sound, hit me up and I'll include it in the next Darnellify if there is one. And of course, credit will be given, and all that jazz. And so that brings us to the end of this video. You should now know what all the options in the Combat tab do. In the next video, we'll discuss what the fuck the Emote tab does.